Welcome back everybody, I'm Rambo Brambo 42, and on today's episode, we are going to make a slime farm. That's right, and not just any slime farm, one designed by Ilmango. This thing is going to be producing slime like crazy, so much so, I won't know what to do with them all. And honestly, when has that really ever stopped me from doing anything, right? If you take a look behind me, you're gonna, oh, hey, wow, it's magical, it just started snowing. Oh man, distractions aside. If you look behind me, I found a slime chunk. Well, not just one, but actually 3. So today's episode, what we're going to do is, well, we're going to dig out 4 chunks, just for symmetry purposes. And, I also made a full shulker box of TNT. And I think I have an idea of how to use it. I really don't plan on using my pickaxe one little bit on this farm. That's right, we're going to blast our way down to bedrock. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Let's get going. Have you all ever wondered what 100 dispensers looks like filled with 32 TNT? Well, here you go. Yeah, looks a little like that. So for a grand total, there is 3,200 pieces of TNT in this little setup. I think that will get me down to bedrock. I could be wrong, I was looking up those calculations online, and it really depends what block you hit through. I'm on average hoping to blast about 3 to 4 blocks per TNT. So 32 times 4, well, let's be optimistic. 32 times 4, you're talking about 128? Yeah, 128. Math is kind of hard to do on camera, not gonna lie. But that's 128 blocks. That's, well, I'm at Y70 right now. I dug out a little bit too, just to level the playing field, so we're starting on an equal footing in every corner of this. I think I can make it to bedrock, that's the going bet. As for powering this, you can see that I've dotted repeaters all the way across, keeping the signal strength up. And to power the original line, it's just going to be a simple lever. I had thought about doing an etho hopper clock or something like that, just to, make this a little automated. However, I got a little worry in the back of my head. If I ended up dropping these things too soon starting out, I might blow up the second TNT or third TNT back upwards, in turn blowing my entire array. Yeah, once again, I've spent too much time and effort into this to have that happen. So we're just going to do it by hand. But speaking of time, I came to the realization that the time it took me to craft the 3,200 TNT, set up this little array of dispensers and repeaters and redstone, I probably could have dug out this entire 4 chunks with just the haste 2 beacon alone. Not gonna lie. But it's the principle that matters here. I told you I was going to use TNT. And so, here we are. Moment of truth. First TNT blast. Hopefully it works. Let's go. Oh wow. Oh. Oh man, so much TNT, dirt and dust everywhere. Oh, it was horrible. So much fire and explosions. Oh god, I almost died. The boomers, they make this so much easier than what it really is. Well, yep. That was a lot of TNT, a lot of dust, dirt, and debris. Not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be easy. On take 2, I am going to go ahead and drop the floor a couple of bits, and then we'll continue on with a time lapse. Hope you enjoy. feel like this is one of those, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop things? Seriously, it turns out 3,200 TNT was not enough to get the bedrock. Well, I shouldn't say not. I did it about I'll say a good half of it is bedrock. This half, on the other hand, for whatever reason, nope, didn't quite make it. But I went down there and I took a look. I only got 3 or 4 layers I'm going to have to mine out. That's not going to be too bad. I'll put back up the haste beacon in the very center. Put a layer of glass on the bottom of the bedrock. That way it's nice flat surface. Come back, even out these walls, put a nice layer of concrete there, make it look purty. That's right, I want this to look purty. Guess who lost time-lapse footage of them digging out the rest of this little chunk? Well, 4 chunks I should say. And filling it with glass on the bottom. This guy. Yeah, that's right. And I know. It's okay. I mean, for one, I'm not a professional YouTuber, so mistakes happen, right? But other than that, it really wasn't that riveting of footage, you know. It was a lot of me just running around. Oh, look, there's another little block hidden away in all that bedrock. Oh, look, there's another one. And I did that for about an hour, because honestly, digging out all the blocks underneath bedrock, it's not fun, to say the least. And honestly, if I could do it all over again, one, I probably wouldn't do it. Well, just to put it bluntly. But 2, I probably would have just crafted more TNT and just kept raining it down until I got all the way to the bottom. You know, maybe that would have done it. But in the end, it's all done, right? It looks pretty, even though this is all going to be covered up with magma cubes or magma blocks, I should say, and quartz slabs for the platforms for the slime to spawn on. So in the end, this was all just completely pointless. And to be honest, it was really just all about a flex. Yeah, look what I can do. Be impressed. But next step, well, I guess we can put the walls up. And when we do that, I'll start from here. I dug out 4 blocks extra on each side. 3 for the collection area for the slimes. The 4th one being where the actual concrete walls are going to go. And I was thinking about having all white walls with purple circuitry going up it. Kind of what we had throughout the rest of the base, but I think we'll get a better, clearer example of what I've really envisioned for the base as a whole with this. And it's getting dark, gotta sleep. Back to what I was saying. Once we go up with the white walls of concrete, I'm going to be either A, filling in, or B, torching all those little nooks and crannies just to make sure we don't have any mob spawn. Reason being, slimes they're pretty shy, right? You know, they don't want to be around any other mobs. So as I have this farm running, I don't want any other mobs entering the mob cap. Plus, I need to do this anyways because I don't want those my mob farm over there to get hindered by this as well. So, with all that said, let's get cracking, you know? We're about, I want to say halfway, but I don't think we're halfway. I still got a lot of grinding for a lot of quartz. As I was gathering up the resources to start on these walls, I ended up having a realization. Well, one, I won't have to fix up all the walls because, well, for this right here, it's not a slime chunk. So I need to do that little section a little bit differently than the rest. 2, you guys probably don't know how this farm is going to work. So I probably need to give you a brief overview of it and maybe let you all know how slime spawn. That way you guys can make this farm yourself. So in Minecraft, you know, you can have some slime chunks, which is a 16 by 16 area. And for my keyboard, it is bound to F3G. And as you can see, I marked out each corner with a quartz slab. Now, since this is a slime chunk, slimes can spawn from Y level 5 all the way up to Y level 40. Anything above that is going to be pointless. Now, there are some exceptions. Well, one, if you're in a swamp, then slimes can spawn in the overworld. I believe they also have to be a new moon as well. So if you notice, I'm not going to start my farm on the Y level 5. And that's because even if I was to replace all this glass here and replace it with a block that slimes could spawn on, I would have my spawning area dotted with, well, spots that they cannot spawn on, which would hurt my rates. I want to focus all of my rates into the sub chunks, which means we will not be going up to Y40. I believe we're going to go to Y30. We'll get more into that later. But I want to force them into an area where they have the most opportune chance to spawn. That way I have increased rates. So just by simply going up 2 layers, that way I, 1, can have my magma blocks on level with the first level of spawnable space, and 2, that allows me to run my rails underneath them so a hopper minecart, fingers crossed they work this time, they will actually be able to collect the items. Now, you may be wondering, well, okay, they can spawn in the middle of this chunk. What's going to get them to, go ahead and bounce on off into their deaths? Well, on these sides going up the wall, we're going to be dotting iron golems in a little cage. That way they see them, they aggro to them, and then they walk off the edge, and they die. And I collect their goods. That's how it works. So another thing that is going to help increase the chances of spawning is simply this. This is the edge of a slime. There is going to be a large opening to where they can jump off, meaning a larger slime can actually spawn on this block. So this right here is not a slime chunk, but you can see I put 1 layer of slime, or 1 layer of slabs going across it. That is to give the mob a chance to spawn there. Because remember, this is not a slime chunk. This is going to be the chunk where I have my storage system and my entrance going from top to bottom to get into this place. I don't want my slimes to, jump into here and, be up in my biz when I'm trying to make slime blocks. So some people will have a solid wall going right up against their slime chunk. That hurts your spawning chances. So instead, like I said, I just added an extra slab, and then I'm going to put a glass wall up against it. That way they have the chance to spawn, they cannot get past there, they're going to see an iron golem, and they're going to jump off. It's magic, right? I take that back. It's not magic, it's science. If you don't get that reference, go watch the last episode. Well, now that we got all that little info away, let's get cracking on this again. up, everybody? Yeah, I've got, I don't know, probably good, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, I'd say 3/4 of the walls done. I'm leaving this one blank for right now. I kind of want to have like a wall decor, like the circuitry thing going up somehow over to the top of the land. And then over here, I think I'm going to leave these solid white, but behind the golems, I kind of want to have a pop of color. So I'm wondering if I need to leave it black, or it's technically gray, or if I should mix the purple one with that. As for these floors, you know, I was thinking quartz, that's going to be impressive. That's going to look good. But I feel like with the walls, it's too much white. So I'm going to regret saying this on camera. I think I'm going to go deep slate mining. I think I need to swap these quartz slabs out. And I mean, I'm going to reuse these. We had talked to, like, was it the first or second episode about doing the, what's it called? Resident Evil style build. And they have a lot of white walls and everything, so I can reuse this quartz, no problem. That won't be an issue. The issue is mining deep slate. And, you know, I guess this is a first world problem, right? It's just, you know, instant mine haste 2, and then you have to wait your 1 extra second for your deep slate. Ugh, come on, you know. Can we have like a haste 3, maybe? Mojang? Just pitching an idea. But, yeah, I'm gonna tear out all this quartz and get that replaced now. Off camera, I decided to fill in the areas where the iron golems are going to be with the purple and black stripes. I think that's a good balance. It should give us a lot more, one depth in color that pops against that white wall. Also, take a note of all these slimes that are just around. Yeah, that's just with 1 layer of this thing. As soon as I get these other 7 layers built up and replaced with the deep slate, this thing is going to be popping. I'm chuffed to bits. I mean, honestly, this, this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Oh, there's a big boy. Anyways, back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. I cannot wait to be collecting all this slime. I mean, honestly, this is going to be the most I've ever had. And this is going to open up a whole new world. I've never dealt with flying machines before, or those TNT launchers, tunnel bores. I've always seen it, wanted to do it, just never could. But here we are. Look what we're doing, right? But speaking about collecting this much slime, I went ahead over here and framed out the area where I'm going to dig in a little bit more and put our sorting system back there. I'm going to make it pretty big. You know, just I feel like with something this big, and it's going to be producing, what was it, 18,000 something slime per chunk per hour. Yeah, I'm going to need quite a bit of storage. Now, also on top, I'm going to go ahead and just put solid white concrete. Now, I eventually want to put that circuitry, circuit board pattern going all the way up in that corner, just for a little detail to kind of tie in the upper layer base area to this area. So let's go ahead and hop back into a time lapse and get this a little bit more finished up. Well, I'm chuffed to bits. I mean, take a look at that. Honestly, that looks a whole lot better than the white quartz. It stands out. This is exactly what this build needed. You know, and just looking at it, it really does make all the extra time and effort I put into it just really worth it. Also, we haven't even put the golems in there, and look at all the slime that is forming around the sides. This is already becoming a pretty impressive slime farm without it being all the way done. Also off camera, I put in a item sorter. It's once again the Impulse SV item sorter, and it's really all you need for something like this. I mean, after all, we're only getting slime balls for this. And this is just what I've been collecting through the entire time. I haven't even attached it to the collector systems yet. Speaking of which, I'll show you. I got one side of it going right now. But other than that, I needed a way to get into here from up top, so I went ahead and did a water vader. The water elevator takes us right next to the farm over here, and as you can see, I even layered it with glass, and this is actually a very important feature of this farm. You cannot put a solid block over this. This will cut the spawns down. The reason being is because we've kept these in the sub chunks, the spawning platforms, the game is only checking those, forcing all the spawns up. Now, if you remember why I said that anything above Y40, slimes cannot spawn. However, if you do put a block over here, the game still has to take the time to actually check this to make sure it can spawn. So just by having it glass or another see-through air block or whatever, it prevents that and it speeds the farm up. Pretty cool feature. If we come over here now, I went ahead and gave myself an access point. That way I can keep an eye on all these minecart tracks to see if they do stop midway. So if we look over here, we have our item collection system, which it's almost the exact same as the original one that I had in the CPU. The only difference? Well, this one actually works. Don't ask me why. But yeah, all the items are funneled into these hoppers. I'll put some composters on top of them. That way we reduce some lag. The items get pushed into this dropper. The dropper will then give a signal into this comparator. Comparator will pick it up, power to dust, which powers this repeater, set the 3 ticks. That will power the piston. The piston will push this observer into this other observer facing it, creating the clock. So once we have the clock going, it's going to force all the items all the way up to the top. You see there we have the start of our ice path. I've kind of marked out a little bit of it. I still got the 2 other sections I need to do. But this will lead all the way around into our sorting system. And that's how we're going to be collecting all the items. So I have done a lot of work off camera and a lot of work on camera. And I think I may finish up the redstone. I don't think everyone likes watching redstone and time lapses. So I'll go ahead and do the other 2 collection systems. And then I'll probably bring you in once I have all the redstone done plus the item paths, and then on camera we can go ahead and fill in some of these golems just to give you an idea of how we're going to do that. Well folks, I ended up getting into the zone and placing some blocks. I believe this thing is done. I got the iron golems stacked up on every side and every little channel. They're doing their jobs. That makes me happy. On top of that, redstone wise, well, you can see, I mean, I got all the dropper vaders going. This is the only one that has a little bit of an issue though. Every other one I was able to fit inside the bedrock with the same circuitry. However, this one I had to use 2 observers to make a constant pulse clock for this dropper. Not too happy about that. But there is a solution to it later, and I'll get into that. So about that redstone fix, yeah, you know, in real life I'm hoping to have this video out November 26th, just to give you a little frame of reference here. Currently, this is November 22nd for me. I have just learned that, well, Mojang plans to release the Caves and Cliffs Part 2. Now when they do that, they are getting rid of bedrock, meaning I can put whatever redstone I want in here. The downside of this is, well, my beautiful floor is going by. All that hard work digging out all those blocks, the nooks and crannies, the hours, it's all gone, it's all wasted. So I don't know what this is going to look like. So, but yeah, words are hard. My feelings are hurt. I guess we can maybe make another episode of just tidying up this place. So there is a bright side to it. Anyways, let's go back to talking about the rest of this farm. And if we take a look over here, you can see I got all the water channels laid out, flowing into the storage system. And I've had this running for maybe, I would say close to 8 hours now. And yeah, this thing, whoops, jump all the way up top. Yeah, it's kind of impractical how high I made this, but hey, it's whatever. This thing has been pumping it out. Oh, wait, there we go. We finally found the end. There we go. Second to last chest. And actually, I have more of that. If we take a look down here, yeah, I started crafting up slime blocks already. Be jealous. And before we wrap up here today, I just wanted to show you all this one last thing with these mine carts. They are running a lot smoother than what they did over there in the CPU collection system. However, I did run across one little issue. And you can see here I kind of knocked it back a block so these things aren't touching. As I was mining out a couple more areas by building these storage systems, I had noticed that they all had jumped over the tracks and eventually ended up all in one line. Yeah, I don't know. It's more witchcraft and wizardry. But as soon as I took care of it like that, I haven't had that issue. So fingers crossed. I think our collection system, it might be fixed 100%. I need some wood to knock on home. Let me go find something real quick. But I think we're going to call that an episode today. I mean, heck, we got a lot done. Storage system, slime farm, decorations. This thing is pumping out slime galore. I mean, a lot of planning went into this. And replanning. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Deep Slate. I'm tired of minding you. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. We have a lot that we can do now with all this slime. I mean, flying machines, TNT dupers. The sky is literally the limit. So, with all that said though, I am Rambo Brambo 42. And if you liked today's episode, learned a little something, got a laugh out of it, heck, consider leaving a like, comment, or even subscribe. I mean, every little bit helps. But anyways, you all have a good day. Bye.